Dear students, in this module, we are going to discuss a very important aspect of family, which is marriage. So, before we talk about the functions of marriage or how marriage is performed, let's first try to define or try to understand that how marriage is defined by the scholars of family and marriage. So, Farley defined the marriage as a socially approved arrangement, usually between a male and a female, that involves economic and sexual relationships. So, you see that in order to fulfill the basic sexual needs or the basic human desire, uh, marriage is considered the formal contract, rather a legal contract in which two members um, perm- are given permission through the consensus of society that they can engage in these kind of relationships uh, with the permission of their family. Whereas the Batty defined the marriage as a union between a man and a woman, such that the children to a woman are recognized legitimate offsprings of both parents. So you see that the difference actually lies in the legitimacy of certain relationships. If we talk about the Pakistani society or marriage in Pakistani society, it is obligated by the religion and religious value. So that formal or that legal union is also considered the religious union. So, by that definition, uh, before having any kind of intimate relationships, uh, a formal contract, which we call nikah, is obligatory, otherwise, it would be considered the sin. So, here is the glimpse of that ceremony while nikah is being performed. So if we talk about the functions of marriage, it it regulates the sexual relationships and it insists the couple to establish a family by procreation. It means that those children in that formal contract would be considered protected, because if there is no contract means that it's a kind of responsibility imposed on the couple. Otherwise, those children could face problems or troubles in case the parents denounce their responsibility. So it provides the economic cooperation, uh, and it develops the intense love and affection towards each other. Otherwise, had those relationships been arbitrary, that could have been emotional traumatization, could be difficult to engage people in a very responsible relationship. So, marriage minimizes the distances between the social groups. It helps to strengthen the bonds of emotionality. It helps to strengthen the relationships of family members. And because of that, it promotes the social cohesiveness as well as harmony in the society. So, when we talk about the marriage types, we can find several available throughout the globe. We will be talking about what particular types are practiced in Pakistan. So let's first talk about what marriage types are generally available. So first is the monogamy. It means that one man marries a woman. That is most commonly practiced globally throughout the world, and it is also most commonly practiced in Pakistan. And then polygamy, it means that multiple marriage partners can be available. So there is a distinction. Polygamy is a general uh, umbrella term for two key distinctions. One is polygyny, and other one is polyandry. Uh, Polygyny means that one man marries two or more than two women. So this is usually this is because this is permissible in Islam, that a man can marry up to four women. So it can be, or it is practiced, although very rarely in Pakistan. However, in some other Muslim countries, it is commonly practiced. Uh, Polyandry somehow is not at all practiced, and it is strictly forbidden. It means that a woman can have the multiple sex partners, which is not permissible in Islam as well as not permissible culturally in Pakistan. And then we have Vatta Satta or exchange marriage. Uh, it's a very complex type of marriage. It's the reciprocity of spouses. It means that if I am to marry a girl, I have to offer that person one of the female members of my family in exchange of that female that I am going to marry. So, Vatta Satta relationships are uh, commonly practiced in Punjab, particularly in South Punjab. Here you can see glimpse of marriage, different marriage patterns based on one-on-one relationship as well as polygyny. If we talk about uh, based on what criteria spouses are selected for the marriage, what is the role of groom, bride, parents, tribal chief? It means that marriage is not considered an individual's affair in Pakistan. It is mostly considered a family affair. The whole family engages in the spouse selection. They try to generate a particular criteria which could be called, which can be called an adequate spouse selection criteria, based on which they select a certain spouse for for their male or female. So marriage proposal are also being sent for the spouse, and it also depends that whether they consider that marriage proposal adequate. If they do consider, the affirmation is usually being considered by offering the sweets or offering the gifts to the potential bride or groom. And then the engagement ceremony takes place, in which the bonds are set that we can find this relationship adequate, and we will be fixing the date of formal marriage for some other occasion. However, this can be considered kind of verbal affirmation based on which the relationship can be considered legitimate for the future. And the wedding ceremonies are the final stage of marriage, in which the nikah is the obligatory, and then rest of the ceremonies are also performed, like मेहंदी की रस्म होती है, फिर उसके अलावा और बहुत सी रस्में हैं, जैसे आजकल चूँकि मॉडर्न सोसाइटी का इन्फ्लुएंस है, मॉडर्निटी का इन्फ्लुएंस है, तो ब्राइडल शावर होता है, फिर मेहंदी की रस्म होती है, फिर उसके बाद बारात है, वलीमा है, और बाकी सारी रस्में परफॉर्म की जाती हैं. So here you will find the glimpse of different rituals being performed during a standard urban marriage. And after the marriage, usually residential patterns are also important. It means कि शादी के बाद कौन किसके साथ जाके रहेगा. Usually, patrilocal residence is adopted in Pakistan. It means that couple live with or nearby the husband's parent. And in the contrary, matrilocal residences are very rare, where couple lives with or near the wife's relatives or parents. And in Pakistan, particularly, this is not considered affirmative. This is not considered normal. Usually, patrilocal residence is preferred. And neolocal is also being practiced. It means that the couple live in an independent residential structure, usually in the urban societies or in the urban areas. Neolocal residential patterns are adopted where a couple decides to live independent of their parental family. And the division of labor in the family, if we talk about, so usually we find that a man has the entire economic responsibilities and deals with the public sphere as compared to female. Although in urban society or in urban areas, female is also by getting education is coming in the economic sphere, as well. However, she is not expected or being pressurized by the society to be actively engaged in the economic activity as compared to her counterpart, the male. Usually, male is expected to be the breadwinner of the society. So, women has the entire domestic household chores responsibilities and to deal with the domestic front.